Picking up where we left off last, this is part 2 of the truth being revealed. And we're in 2022 after the divorce papers have been filed for. She doesn't know, the kid's mom doesn't know that I'm aware of it because there was an advertisement that came to my residence saying, hey, get representation in this case. I'm like, what case? After I set those boundaries and said, hey, you can't come into my residence because I caught you stealing kids' clothes out of my dresser. Then apparently there had been some change of mind or execution with another plan behind the scenes. My daughter wasn't doing too well when it comes to her, or it came to her health. So we were back in the hospital dealing with something, maybe low platelets, probably low platelets, because I'm the one who always spotted it and picked it out. No, this isn't normal play bruising. This looks like low platelets. And sure enough, we're in the hospital for something. I can go back and check my notes, but we're in the hospital. And she doesn't understand why I'm being very, not mean, but just cold and gray rock, if you will, toward her. She's like, oh, what's going on? Why are you acting this way? She's putting it in messages. You need to act this way in front of the kids and that way. I'm like, Heffa, you over here filing for dissolution of marriage, and you don't even have the, not the compassion, but the common decency to just tell somebody ahead of time or to have any type of conversation. She's pretending nothing's going on, nothing's wrong, not knowing that I know. Eventually, like 30 days later, I finally get served because there's a lot going on with schedule and ripping and running. And I had my own consultations as to what was going on. Everybody's, you need to do this and you need to do that and you need to get a lawyer, you need to blah, 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 blah. But the Holy Spirit just kept telling me, I got you on this. And then he directed me to go look up, I think it was my name, for court records in Orange County as well. And he shows me that Donica, her sister, had filed, what was it? Stalking, like some type of stalking case against me after I reported her for pretending to be a lawyer, because I got all of the stuff from the social media that she liked to post that says I'm a lawyer, the emails that said she's a lawyer, as well as a couple other just online free information searches using her, what was it, the Donnie Bonboni name, talking about the drug use and the open marriage, and just showing that the mentality of this person is not quite what it should be for someone who's going to be representing, not to say there aren't other people like that, but someone who's going to be representing our government in any type of form and having a .gov email address. So she's always stalking, but the beautiful thing is within 24 hours, it was dismissed with prejudice. I never even knew it happened. Dismissed, you kind of know what that means, but with prejudice means, and don't bring this crap back again. There was no grounds for it. It was completely false. And it was just someone retaliating for getting exposed, getting their hand in the cookie jar, so to speak, caught. Nonetheless, we move forward. We've got the dissolution of marriage going on, and I'm still trying to work together in a sense, but I know I have to be a little bit more strategic, because this type of person that I'm dealing with would always say, and I mean over all the years of being with them, nope, I never said that. Nope, I never did that. It's like, yeah, you did. It was this day, you were wearing this, and then you were eating this type of cereal. Like, I have a pretty photographic memory most times. And I say, I know we sat down. I know we recorded it. I know we wrote it down because I had been dealing with this for so many years. And now I'm like, all right, we need to start documenting this communication. I found a lot of support groups to help me not only understand how to communicate with someone who's presenting as if they have some type of mental illness, but I found legal resources as well. So due to necessity, remember, I'm coming back from 0, 0, 0 in the bank account. I don't have the finances to do it. I have to totally lean on God. It's like, I can't hire an attorney for $3,000. I can't hire an attorney for 10 grand. I can't afford to spend, like, I don't have it at all. So I ended up learning family law. It's like, let's see what we're going to do here. I went to a paralegal to at least give me some help with responding to the petition. Everything I put in there was very basic and factual. It's like, hey, I think the kids would be best suited in my care until their mom could get a psychological evaluation and until some other things take place and blah, 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 blah. But I was never trying to take everything 100% custody like she has been saying. Has been her goal, or the forces that be with her, so to speak. But mine was, hey, until this person is in a place where they can get treated for their past trauma, treated for the way that they're seeing the world. Because you got to remember, like, they're in 2020, she was on the couch at her parents' place. We were there, pale, catatonic, staring out the window. It's like, what the heck is going on? This is a time where I'm caring for my daughter, and she's just being nasty and evil toward me. I'm like, what the heck do you want? As a matter of fact, during that time, it was COVID, so I would sleep in my car in the garage so that in the morning I can go right back in and the parents could switch out. Nonetheless, we're in 2022. My daughter's getting some treatment in the hospital, still trying to be cordial and peaceful and holding on to what God has told me to do. I'm keeping my mouth shut. She's telling people false, awful things about me. I don't know anything about alienation at this point. I don't know anything about narcissism or triangulation, but I keep getting all these videos from her calling me narcissist and sometimes occasionally schizophrenic, any other name that she found that I now know represented what she was seeing and feeling about herself, she would project onto me. So for a long time, narcissist, I'm like, okay, let me check and see. Am I like, I would always take people's opinions and their accusations and say, okay, let me be fair. Now knowing, for the most part, rational people do that, sick and unhealthy people don't. You say, hey, I believe you're exhibiting narcissistic personality disorder or some traits. No, I don't. No, I'm not. As opposed to the people that go, wait, let me go check. This is important to you. This is important to me. Nonetheless, I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm getting all these accusations. I'm ignoring the whole thing about NPD because I'm like, no, my understanding of narcissism was this person has to be a jerk and they have to be a loudmouth and it has to all be about them, which is not true. I learned a lot. 2022, I'm noticing things. Aviana and my son, they don't like the back and forth, of course. Like, I don't understand why we can't go back to the yellow house, is what Aviana would say. And she would say, I don't want to go with mom. I don't want to go with mom. I don't want to go with mom. She would always say that. We've been like this from birth. I talked to her when she was in her mother's stomach. Got to read books to her. So there's a father-daughter bond that cannot be understood, only experienced. Moving forward, I'm noticing signs that every time the kids are with me, their health is good. But when they go with their mom, it's not so hot. And I'd experienced that years before. Once again, I was the one who was the primary caretaker. Her mom just wasn't able to do it or didn't want to. Combination of both. Call it what you want, but I'm not going to excuse the behavior, nor am I going to enable it anymore. I'm done doing that. I'm noticing things that just don't look right with my daughter's health. And I keep raising red flags to the doctor. And this doctor, you have to understand, people are people. As I look at her as an individual, I'm going, you have a problem with conflict. You like to avoid conflict and pretend that everything's okay. Because there's this going on in the hospital now, a little bit. But I brought it out into the light. It's like, hey, talk to the social worker. This is what's going on. Veronica said she wanted to leave and have things easier. And she's been trying to stay at her parents and blah, blah, blah. She's trying to buy this place. I didn't know that it had gone through at the time. And I'll tell you how she got it later. Didn't know how it had gone through. But this is what's going on. We got 2 split homes. And during this time when we would check into the hospital and check out, I was bold. I was like, hey, we have 2 separate residences, because their mom, Veronica, would try to come by at the desk and speak for both of us and make it look like we were still together in the same residence and caring for her together. It's like, no, that's not what I saw. That's not what I experienced. We're not together. And I remember her at the desk in the emergency room once going, like, you know what you did and what you said. Like, you filed the papers. Like, what's the problem? Why are you trying to portray this image? Anyway, as we start to get closer toward August, June, July, August, there's an opportunity to take a family portrait. And I just sense in my gut and in my spirit that I should take this opportunity and do it. Even though it might cost me a little bit of time, a little bit of money, distance. And we took these beautiful family photos with me, my son, and us together. And I left my my wedding band on. And as I'm talking to the photographer, like, God will send people, even if they aren't Christians. And I'm not saying she wasn't, but I don't think she was. He'll send people into your path to tell you exactly what you need for comfort. And She was like, okay, mom's not here. It's like, well, here's the situation. Here's what's going on. I'm leaving this ring on because I am technically still married. That's a vow that you make before God. And the time will show that I'm not the one who gave up. I'm not the one who went and messed around. I'm not the one who did XYZ. It's like, here's my ring. It's on there so that when the kids are older and everyone's older, they'll see this picture. They'll know the date. And they'll see that dad was doing exactly what he was supposed to do. And she goes, wow, that's something like you have very high emotional intelligence. And just gave me a compliment. Now, the reason the compliment felt soothing is because I had heard the exact same opposite from their mom, knowing now that she projected everything on me that she was feeling and thinking, and not just she, but that spirit, that demonic influence that she is and was dealing with. We wrestle not against flesh and blood. These are people that are disturbed, not just through something naturally in their body, but it's supernatural. And it manifests physically, naturally. So we take this picture, family photo. I'm still working my butt off. I'm delivering pizzas in the morning and doing security at night. That's what I do. And then transition into, I got a job learning, studying health insurance, and then take the exam and then get a contract. I just butchered that. Let me go back. I'm in prayer time. I'm like, Lord, I see this business afar off, but I don't understand insurance, health insurance, finances, life insurance. I don't understand any of that. I need you to send me some people to help me understand it. Tuck it away. I get a call back from a company I'd applied for a job with. It was a customer service position working from home. They say, hey, by the way, that position that you applied for, we're actually going to now put you in the class to study for your health insurance license. We're going to pay for you to study, and then you're going to get a contract after. It's like, whoa, something that I thought I was disqualified for. I didn't think I was smart enough or capable of doing that. I'm studying, I'm learning, I'm growing. And during this time, remember we took the picture around July, August, September hits. And we're in the office or the doctor room. And the doctor had previously been saying, I think back in August, oh yeah, everything's great, looks great. And then you could take that trip to Bulgaria. I'm like, what trip? She ain't allowed to go to Bulgaria. It's like, one, we ain't got a passport. Two, I ain't signed off on it. Heck to the no. And their mom was trying to quiet them down because she had said some stuff, but the beauty of it is it's in the medical record. Nonetheless, I'm like, hey, everything's not okay. Oh, yes, we can hurry up and take the port out. She doesn't need the port anymore. Like, no, something's not right. I think we should wait. September 6, 2022 comes in. And she comes back into the room after the blood work, the doctor, with her head down. And I've got I had already seen it on my phone. We're afraid Aviana has relapsed. I didn't see this coming. And I go, I did. And I told you. We don't have her anymore. She bowed out. And thankfully she bowed out. We have other physicians that are way better than her. And I'm not trying to be mean, but if you're a coward when it comes to confrontation and conflict and you want to always be optimistic, ignorantly optimistic without judging the facts, don't do it with my kid. Nonetheless, we're in the room and there's conflict there, and their mom is trying to blame me for her relapse. I'm like, stop, be quiet. This is just grief, and now you're blaming. This is what's happening, and now we have to move forward. So I wasn't even upset at her. I was like, that was actually a Holy Spirit moment. Like, she's just dealing with grief. It's a phase of grief. Okay. What's it? Denial, bargaining, blah, 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 blaming. So it's September 22nd. We're getting ready to go forward with more chemo. This time we have to do radiation, and the road's going to be rough. But I'm so glad that I persisted and God allowed that pause and at least the relapse result to happen sooner rather than later, because if she had the port taken out and her platelets were too low to have it put back in, then we have to do this. The peripheral, the PICC line, which was awful and got infected before. And it's harsh on the human body, let alone a little child. So now we're moving forward with treatment, and we're getting ready to start a really, really rough course. I'm selling health insurance. Well, I don't want to say selling because it's for me. I facilitate. There are people who sell stuff to you and you don't need it, and they're full of crap. But I was blessed to be able to help seniors with Medicare, and the God-given gifts of finding patterns and understanding people. I'm utilizing in that field. So I'm listening. I'm using their flow, the company I was working with, and I'm able to help a lot of people in a short amount of time. And I got feedback from my performance every so often. And one lady was like, I can't say anything. Like, you did everything right, and you're really good at the way you talk to these people. And then a couple weeks later, I'm like, what the heck is going on? I counted 8 people that came inside of my virtual room, like join GoToMeeting. We had it set up to where the supervisors could listen in and you would see them. Was it GoToMeeting? We had some system, another system. Anyway, I see who's coming in to listen. And they're all these top managers of the company because we had a contract with this company and then this was the big company. Everybody's coming in to listen. And I was like, you have an amazing way of talking to our customers. Very, very difficult people. I mean, one or two people, I'm like, I should have got an Emmy or an Oscar or something for that because there was patience. I couldn't even understand what the heck he was saying because he mumbled, his voice was deep, and he had a thick accent. I'm like, Lord, please help me because I can't hear what he's saying. I just want to hang up. And as the call kept going on, his voice got clearer and clearer. I'm like, okay, I can help you now. Nonetheless, God gave favor in that. But then come around a couple months into this is before December, probably about October of 2022. They're saying, all right, Aviana's going to need a bone marrow transplant. We're going to wipe out all of her immune system with radiation. Okay. Between mom and dad, they do some preliminary questionnaires like, all right, dad would be the best fit. Let's go get your blood work done. And they went the old school route with me, surgical. Went right into the bone, the iliac crest, and it was not at all what they tried to make it out to be. I've got a video on that as well about what to expect for a bone marrow transplant. But I've literally, and I'm proud to say it, I've given blood, sweat, and tears for my family. For my family. Not in vain, but intentionally. And during this time around December 2022, there's a video that I later discovered with my daughter talking to her mom. She sent a video. She's brilliant, by the way. Even though she's like 3, 4, 5, this little girl is on a different level. And she sends her mom a video on Google Meet. And this is when it starts becoming very difficult to talk to my daughter on the iPad. I don't like you anymore. Your face is ugly. Your hair is ugly. Everything about you is ugly. Your teeth are ugly. She's just going in. And I'm like, all right, let's look at what she's really saying. This is a little kid cursing out her mom. Like, that's the best way she can do it. Her mom did something to provoke her to go, I don't like you anymore. Everything about you is ugly. Whoa. Let me do the math. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So she had to be 5. Yeah. 2022. Wait, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Yep, she was 5 during that time. And gave her mom this video. After that, the iPad went on lock. She was not allowed to have it anymore to communicate with her dad because I had gone on there and I saw this video. It's like, oh, wow. Nonetheless, it's 2022, bone marrow transplant. I'm like, what the heck is the problem? I've just given blood, sweat, and tears, or just my physical body to take care of my daughter, and I can't even talk to her on the iPad like a day after the surgery because they put me in through a surgical procedure. It's like, what's going on? It was a really low feeling moment, but I was blessed to have 2 friends who I would call family take me in and say, you can stay with us while you recover. I was stupid enough to believe what the doctor said and think that I could be out in a couple days, and I tried it. It was rough. Ideally, it would have been nice to stay 2 weeks, but my mindset wasn't there. I was like, I want to get up. I'm gone. About 2-3 days, try to do something else. It is a very humbling experience. I couldn't tie my shoes. I couldn't put on my socks by myself. Like, very, very, very difficult. I could probably post some photos of that at some point, but it was a lot. Nonetheless, I'm going to stop there. We're at the end of 2022, December, and now we're going to go into 2023. And this is when all the foolishness starts to heat up. But remember, just because this story sounds awful doesn't mean that it's awful. God's got his hand on all of it. And you can find joy in the mourning. There's joy in these. Listen, the joy is she got bone marrow, stem cells from me. The joy is there was a solution. The joy is we got the picture before she went into relapse and she still had all of her hair. God gives us blessings every day. And if we're in a mindset of being grateful, we can see them. See you on the next one.